Hi, this is Ben from Garden Crossings, and today it's the end of our growing season here in Michigan, so we're going to be pulling out our AquaPots and gutting them, cleaning them out, and storing them away for the season. They were looking really nice up until last Friday. Like Thursday night, Friday morning, we had a really hard frost, and a lot of things started to melt in the AquaPots, as you can see. So they're toasted, it's time to go. If anybody watched the first video when we planted up these AquaPots, I know Heidi was doing videos throughout the summer so you could see kind of how they evolved through the growing stages. And this is what they look like at the end of the season when some frost hits them. So your plants like begonia, sweet potato vine, elephant ears, stuff like that that likes it warmer, that's what really gets hit hard. You can see the petunias still look decent in this pot. So this one we did, just for a little recap, we had elephant ear, we had begonia, and then we had latte super petunia in these. I really liked how they turned out. We used this recipe last year, so we just did a repeat of that. And this was a customer favorite from what I heard, so I think we might do it again. Maybe we'll tweak the begonia, maybe the latte, I don't know. We'll do something a little different, but it's a good combo. Really like that one. So this pot here, our showcase was Thunbergia, and you can see it went crazy. So we had some portulacas in here, and I can't even remember what the third plant was. It got eaten alive by this Thunbergia though through the summer. But this year I did some bamboo stakes so it could get growing up, and I think it turned out really cool. Had a lot of nice pretty orange flowers on it, but you could see it just took over our entire landscape. So this one's gonna be a lot of fun to try and get all these vines out and rip it out. So there's our Thunbergia pot for the season. So here's one of our smaller pots that are in front of the garden center here, and still looks pretty decent. In this pot we had Angelonia white, we had Bright Lights purple, Tropical Sunrise Calibrachoa. We had Blew My Mind in here someplace. You might be able to see a little bit of it around the back there. And that one started to get eaten, but this pot did really good. I noticed that probably the last 6 weeks or so is when the Angelonia really started to do a nice show. There was a point in the summer where it didn't have a ton of blooms on it, but now a ton of purple, and the Tropical Sunrise looked good the whole growing season. Okay, these were our showcase pots in front of the garden center here. So we did two matching on either side of the roof here. And this one did really good all season. We had the Salvia Rockin' Deep Purple, which is just covered in bees right now. It's a great pollinator one. We have Pink Lemonade, Calibrachoa, Silver Falls, and then inside here you can see we had Pink Geranium too. It's crazy how big the salvia got in this pot. I think I did 3 of them in one of the pots, and it just took over. And we did have a pretty substantial rainstorm probably a month ago or so. And with the water running off the roof line, it started to split the salvia. But still, they look really nice going into the last week of October here. So now I'm gonna showcase a little bit of our front landscape here still. So we had our yellow cannas in the middle here, and those really took off probably 5-6 weeks ago, and just beautiful out here. And then we have Jazzberry Petunia, which is my favorite one right now, still my favorite annual, and then Gold Dust in the front. And the weather has played really well in our favor this year. The front bed still looks really good. There's been years in the past where we ended up gutting out this whole landscape because it wasn't looking good, and we did a bunch of fall plantings, which was beautiful. But we decided a few weeks ago that the front landscape still looks so good. The annuals still look amazing, so we're just gonna leave it. And you can see even after a couple frosts, Jazzberry's still looking great, which lead into the next AquaPot here. And just in case anybody doesn't know what an AquaPot is, it has a self-watering reservoir in it. So there's a plate in the middle of the pot and a tube that goes down, and you put your soil in and you push it down the tube, and it creates a nice big pocket in there for water to go in. And then you have a fill tube on the back side of your pot, and then a little spill hole So you can fill that up, and you can go almost a week depending on you know, where you have it at, depending on sunlight and heat and everything. But only having to water it once to twice a week saves a lot of maintenance time. And then with the spill hole, even if you have a week straight of rain, it's never going to get swamped out. Your roots are never going to rot because there's always going to be just enough water in that reservoir. So this aquapot here, we did 2 different sweet potato vines. We did Jet Black and we did Medusa. As you can see, they kind of melted from the frost. We had, looks like, I think we had Hot Pink Mini Vista Petunia in here. And then we had Salvia Playing the Blues. And with the Salvia, we actually had 3 of them up top here. And we had a big windstorm one day, and 2 of the big tiers kind of cracked off. One fell down here, but didn't crack, and I left it, and the sweet potato vine actually kind of grew back over it, and it looks kind of cool, popping out the bottom there. So this pot also performed really well this year. So this pot here, I did Tiara Pink as our main feature plant in it. This is the first year I've used this in one of the aquapots, and I only used 2 of them, and you can see it took over the entire pot. I also had Broalia in here, some Angelonia Pink, which you can still see a little bit of that's poking out. And I might have even had some sweet potato vine and some type of another spiller in here, but the Tiara Pink just totally ate it. It actually spilled out into the landscape a little bit, but looked amazing. We used the Tiara Pink in our hanging baskets in the front of the store this year too. We used it in the landscape, and that's one petunia I'm really liking a lot. I thought it did good in all the places we used it this year. Very aggressive though, so it's almost like a bubble gum where if you got a big space you want to fill, and you only need a few of these and it'll really fill it in. So that's another great pot this year.
The joke always was, too bad we don't have a mannequin that we could have put in this pot, because wouldn't that have made just the absolute perfect dress? Logan's being our model right now. You know, he's taking one for the team doing this, but man, can you imagine? Wouldn't that be a gorgeous dress?
And lastly, we have what I call as our Halloween pot. I did this same combo last year too, and I really liked how it turned out. We got the black sweet potato vine, the vermillionaire. We had yellow nonstop begonias in there. The begonias got eaten alive, you can see. You can't see them anymore, but they looked good throughout the summer. They did really well. I thought this pot did really good again, and I would be tempted to do the same kind of combo again for next year someplace around here. Vermillionaire is great for hummingbirds. It's another reason I put it right outside of Rod's office so he can watch the hummingbirds if he ever gets bored in there, which I'm sure he never gets bored. But yeah, I was very impressed with how all the AquaPots did this year. I think it was a good plant selection, a lot of fun plantings, and we'll have to see what we can cook up for next year. Tweak some stuff, leave some stuff the same. But now Logan and I got the task of gutting all these things, so we're gonna get to ripping them out. So cheers from Garden Crossings.
Right now they're kind of planning out how they're gonna be moving this big boy. There's 3 guys on this job right now. There is still some water in it because obviously we can't drain the water out, but we can stop watering. Problem is we had about 3 inches of rain over the weekend. So even though we stopped watering, the rain filled up the reservoir. So not only is the pot itself with the soil in it ridiculously heavy, all of that foliage on top also adds to a ton of weight. And oh, look at here. So they're actually just tipping it on its side. And because of all that foliage, it's creating kind of a cushion underneath the pot. So I don't know that this is typically like the way I would recommend doing it, but that did work pretty good for them. We actually had some pots in our walkway that the wind blew over, and we were thankful at that point for the huge foliage canopy, because as the pot tipped over, it just cushioned it on its way down and over. So we're gonna head over to the compost pile a minute and get this emptied out. I wanna show you the root system. It's gonna be ridiculous once we see it. So let's go head on over and see what it looks like with them taking it out. There is just a ton of water pouring out of that pot right now. So all of that is just excess weight that is totally not needed, especially when you're trying to move these things. So Logan's sitting on the pot, holding the pot back, while Ben is trying to yank all the plants out.
Yeah.
Dirt's flying everywhere. AquaPots definitely do grow a very good plant.
Plan B, I'll put my foot on here and I'll pull.
All right, trying to come up with plan B. It's getting creative over here, folks. Wow. Look at that mass of roots. See, that's where the AquaPots are great. They really grow excellent root systems, and that's the reason too why these plants, they get so big, is because they're getting watered constantly. They're getting fed constantly because we put fertilizer, water-soluble fertilizer, down in those pots. So these plants are getting fed all summer long, and it's going to take some cleaning to pull all those roots off the cone there of the insert that Ben was referring to that sets down in that AquaPot. Look at that, pulling all that off there. Let me tell you, the smell right now is not pleasant. All this kind of broken down compost and stuff. But that is just a massive root ball, and that's what it takes. It takes strong roots to create healthy plants. Now the princess pot is getting unearthed. You can just see all of that foliage that Logan just pulled up out of the jazzberry petunias that were on the ground. Again, they're going to go with that tipping method, especially with that canopy of all that supertunia foliage. It's going to give them a nice cushion, a nice base to just roll it on its side and push it up on the pallets. I mean, it's nice to have these gorgeous, huge planters, but it is literally a lot of work. And that's why these big, huge planters typically aren't the size that's sold to a home consumer, because most people, you know, just an average home, wouldn't be able to move these things. Obviously, you can see we're using a high-low to get them transported around, and they're just, yeah, definitely very heavy. But because we got the garden center here, we want to have big impact. And to have big impact and lots of plants, you got to have big pots. Look at that, it's ripping it out. And you can see the gaping hole it's leaving behind. So once they have all the pots cleaned out, they're going to come through, maybe not today, but probably in the next week, I'm guessing, and rip out all these petunias as well. We're in Michigan. It's a zone 6A, as Ben mentioned earlier. We have had our first frost for the season, so all of the tender annuals have been hit. Obviously, petunias, they can handle more cold than a lot of the other plants can. So they're still holding on a little bit, but definitely it is end of season here and time for all of these gorgeous annuals to be torn out and the garden center kind of just tidied up for the fall. We're going to just show you one more of these pots getting emptied out. They've got several more to go, but it's going to all be kind of the same process of how they're doing it. I guess at least if he falls backwards, he'll land into a nice cushion of flowers. So this one, as they're pulling it, the foliage is kind of breaking more. So like as they're pulling, the plant's breaking off. We did cut the branches off for the palm, though. It'd be kind of funny and show you the dress. So that also kind of eliminated some of the leverage for them to hold on to pull out this foliage. Right now he's pulling on the fill tube, trying to see if that could help get some movement. There we go, rocked it out. So Ben's got a hold of the palm trunk there.
I don't really know what I'm doing.
And that's kind of helping get most of the root ball out. The petunia top pulled right off. There you go. Tip it upside down. Now, interestingly enough, this one doesn't have as much of a root ball as the prior one we did. And part of the reason is because it depends on what plants that you're putting into these containers. Some plants just naturally have a more prolific root structure than others. Petunias typically don't have a very thick root structure, so they're easy to pull out. But I think it was probably the sweet potato vine in that last pot, along with maybe even that kufia, that had a really, really thick, dense root structure. So that is how these babies get cleaned out and what they look like once they're emptied. So the next thing they'll do once they're ready is they'll take them in the greenhouse, give them a good old power wash, get all the soil out of them, any roots that are left in it, get that all out and get them cleaned up, packed away for next year. That is the beauty with the AquaPots. Even though they are a little bit pricey, they can be used for years and years and years of enjoyment. And also the time-saving factor that they have without having to water every single day is a huge blessing.
Thank you for watching today. If you have any questions, comments, you can comment below. Please subscribe to our channel, and happy planting, everyone.